Saints Row, a reboot of the liked franchise created by means of Deep Silver Volition, apparently had regained the have faith of its followers after an preliminary divulge had them deeply worried. The developer used to be in a position to create some buzz via succeeding trailers, which made fans excited for its release. Now, having spent over a week with the sport, Saints Row released August 23 for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series SX. I am afraid to say that the preliminary fears of the fandom have come true. This new take on the descent into existence of crime for the Saints is devoid of all the quirky characteristics that made it virtually stand out and set itself apart from Rockstar's GTA games lower back in the day. The Saints return in a new setting, the city of Santo Ileso. But it would have been higher if they had stayed domestic and thought this state trip through. It may have averted them from falling flat on their faces. Saints Row places you into the footwear at the boss. Having been fired from a personal Navy gig and your housemates deserted by way of their gangs, you and your crew set out to establish your personal criminal empire as the Saints. Saints Row affords multiple customization preferences for the boss, vehicles, and weapons. I spent a few hours growing a library of customized designs for my character. Vehicle and weapon customization is additionally extraordinarily detailed. You can spend an honest amount of your time in the customization menus, which is in all likelihood the most pleasurable factor of the game. Also see Saints Row release date, system requirements, gameplay, download size, and more. Saints Row kicks off on an exciting word with the boss being betrayed and the Saints HQ destroyed. However, we then jump lower back into the previous to trip the events that lead to that moment. This premise ought to have been captivating had the motivations of your personality and your crew no longer been so shallow. The recreation additionally fails to supply experience of development as you extend the notoriety of the Saints. For example, you can set up your criminal ventures somewhere in the city, as quickly as you get the potential to construct them. There is no opposition for grounds with rival gangs, which I felt used to be a missed opportunity. Sticking just to the fundamental missions, you will be capable to complete the Saints Row marketing campaign in about 15 hours. You can also set up quite a few criminal ventures during Santo Ileso, along with the fan-favored insurance fraud from the preceding games. The remaining, however, both contain clearing a wave of enemies or stealing a vehicle. In fact, most story missions also fall into these two categories, which makes the complete game experience like a grind as soon as you are 4 to 5 hours into your playthrough. Accompanying you on this ride is a new crew consisting of Nina, Eli, and Kevin. Each of these characters possesses a unique trait. Nina is your getaway driver/mechanic, Eli serves as the brains of the operation, and Kevin is the party-throwing DJ/chef that has quite a few connections in Santo Ileso. The Saints Row developer tries to invoke this deep bond of friendship between us and these characters, however never delves deep into our history with them. Saints Row doesn't honestly discover the characters themselves either. After an introductory mission, they are in general there to send you to your next mission, or aid you in fight or do you select to call. I by no means sincerely felt attached to my crew and the sport never tried to make me care. Also see The Last of Us Part 1 PS5 review. Absolutely gorgeous, but overpriced Saints Row is no longer a visually appealing game. It goes for the on-brand cartoony take on the characters, but the world surrounding them is dull. There are a number of lights problems with the game. The draw distance is no longer that fantastic either, with things popping in and out of your area of view at times. It appears like a recreation that belongs to a previous console generation. Disappointingly, it is not simply the graphics that feel dated, the gameplay is additionally caught in the past. Saints Row simply wishes you to stand in the open and exchange fire with an AI that is intelligence dead even on greater difficulties. There are a few sorts of enemies ranging from grunts to armored mini-bosses, but most can be without problems dispatched barring any challenge. Furthermore, capturing guns is simply no longer gratifying in Saints Row. Even with upgrades, they feel inaccurate and do infrequently any damage. You additionally get numerous different moves and an execution meter that fills up at some point of combat. These executions assist you regain health, however get historic after a few hours and destroy the float of combat. In addition, the animation can be glitchy at times that simply makes these executions look awkward. This uninspired combat is honestly the biggest issue to taking part in Saints Row. I would have gotten behind grinding missions to make bigger my criminal empire, however the fight is boring, to say the least. Saints Row is no longer a polished sport either. I have skilled sport crashes, artifacts popping up on the screen, allies magically performing in vehicles, the listing goes on. I even had my saved files corrupted after having spent a few hours in the game. There is additionally a malicious program that stops your controls from working throughout missions, which used to be specially infuriating as it made me lose mission growth various times. Also see Spider-Man Remastered PC review. A tad overpriced, but worth the wait. The most fun I had with Saints Row was once in its vehicle combat. Side-swiping cop or gang cars and staring at them explode never received ancient for me. The effortless drifting additionally made me select motors over a wingsuit or helicopter most of the time. That said, most vehicles cope with very in a similar fashion to each different and all can glide very easily. So, I in no way felt fascinated in building an automobile collection, as any car can do the job. Despite calling itself a reboot, Saints Row has not moved on from its predecessors. The game performs like a PS3-era title in each and every sense of the word. It is not a polished product either. Corrupted saves, crashes, visible glitches, and bugs make the trip enraging at times. The Saints Row campaign starts evolved on an fascinating note, but then fails to draw close you with really no anxiety and stakes. Adding to the distress is an ensemble of drab characters that fail to invoke any actual emotion from the player. There are a few upsides to Saints Row though. You can spend hours in the customization menu decking out your character, vehicles, and weapons. The potential to save a couple of persona designs of your boss and swap them on the fly is a satisfactory contact that most gamers will appreciate. Drifting round the desolate tracked landscape and town streets of Santo Ileso is in the main fun. The wingsuit additionally adds an exciting element to traversal on Saints Row. However, most motors handle surprisingly lots the same and the car sounds are barely audible. Also see FIFA 23. The Last of Us Part 1, more, September games for PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series S. Largest failure of Saints Row is the combat in my opinion. Guns just do not feel correct and are now not exciting to shoot. In addition, hand-to-hand combat is simply current as an afterthought. The newly added executions look thrilling in the beginning, however end up annoying, and continuously destroy the drift of combat. I used to be certainly hoping to experience the lifestyles of crime in Saints Row and the few moments where the entirety clicked were exhilarating. But, overall, it is now not an enjoyable journey, now not even if you determine to get it on sale. I would advise that you sit down this one out, and save both your time and money. Pros cons rating, out of 10, for we performed Saints Row on a PC with an AMD Ryzen 5 5600X 3.7 GHz, AMD RX 578 GB, and 16 GB RAM. Saints Row can be purchased on PC via the Epic Games Store for 1,859 rupees. It is handy on the PlayStation Store for 3,999 rupees for the PS4 and PS5. Xbox One and Xbox Series SX customers can buy the Recreation for 3,999 rupees from the Xbox Store.